Okay guys, so here we go. Of course, I'm so stoked and excited to learn more and take whatever I've learned and share it. So today we're gonna talk about why do people get fat on keto? I thought the whole thing was to, I thought it was to drop weight. Now, a lot of you guys are gaining weight. Which is why when I first start coaching people, I'm like, don't look at the scale or step on it for at least 6 weeks. Because that creates a stress response because you're just like, I want to get lean. Body doesn't work like that. So what's the deal? You guys stumble on keto because you want to lose weight. You're going to lose weight. You're going to lose muscle. You're going to lose collagen. You can lose your menstrual cycle. We don't want to lose that kind of weight. Right, so what you actually want to do is use ketogenesis as a way to heal the body, because if you're healing the body from the inside, then unnecessary body fat will just go naturally once your body gets out of crisis mode. People don't understand. If your body's stressed, it's better to store fat. Yes, it's not good to have muscles, right? Muscles take up a lot of energy from the body. And if you're starving, if you're stressed out, muscles are gonna make you more stressed out, more tired, because they're so crack-a-lackin'. They're like popcorn. They're metabolically active times a gazillion. And so it makes more sense to store fat because fat is inactive. It can just sit there and we can access it if we need fuel. In crisis, our bodies don't know that we're living in the modern time, guys. It has no idea there's a refrigerator right there whatsoever. So if you were to actually be living outside, you would want to store fat because you would actually live longer. You can live off your body fat if you were going through a famine period. So people go on keto and just expect this whoosh with us. But it doesn't work that way. To be able, the whole concept, to be able to build muscle and get lean, it's dope. Like, it is the attainable on ketogenesis. But getting there, you guys know you gotta cross that bridge over to ketosis land, and that is the journey. That's your walkabout. Because that's not gonna happen like that. You're tripping if you think it's going to go that fast, because it's not. So why do we gain weight if the whole point is to lose weight, right? Well, it comes from prior damage. So this is how it works. You've been eating carbs your whole life. We can only handle a teaspoon. And some people are like, you are joking. I go, nope, not joking, because if you were to live outside and forage for food, you might get 5 grams per day or per meal. But we're eating upwards 200 grams of carbs, 300 grams of carbs. It's easy to get it in with all the processed carbohydrates, all the chips and the juice and the soda. It's really, really easy to get your carbs up past 200. But we can only handle 5 grams? Like, how is that possible? Well, we're like cockroaches. And we are able to take a lot of damage. But over time, you see it in people. You see it in their body shape. You see it in their face. You see it in their posture. People are like this. You see it in their eyes, the clarity of their eyes. You see it. They keep living. They're on a bunch of drugs to deal with the pain and the tired and the depression and the this and the that. So, as you know, keto is a lot more than losing weight. You can actually use it as a strategy to heal all of your systems from the inside out. But the reason why you guys are gaining weight on it is because you have issues with your pancreas and muscles and the middle of the brain and hypothalamus, like all these, the thyroid, all of these systems are going to help regulate your metabolism, the activity in your cells. So if you've damaged hormones, if you've damaged your ability to have high functioning muscles with GLUT4 receptors that know how to uptake glucose. If you have damaged your reproductive hormones and of course the adrenals, it is, you are in, the body doesn't understand like I gotta pay bills and texting. It doesn't understand that stress. Stress ultimately equates, I'm running from a lion, I'm running from a lion. It's the fight or flight mode. But you're not running from a lion, you're just texting somebody back. Or exposure to toxins. So your body just wants to get fat. So you go on keto. When you first try keto, it's a stress, guys. Keto is a stress to the body. And that's why when you see studies up to 1 month, they're terrible. Like the symptoms of the keto flu symptoms, which are the rashes and the muscle cramps and the dehydration and the lethargy and the chronic fatigue, and some people develop heart palps because their potassium and their sodium is so low from being dehydrated. They get constipated. Like all these things happen. That's a stress to the body. Their thyroid symptoms. That goes way out of control. So if their body had it difficult to produce thyroid hormone or the conversion of inactive T4 to T3, then going on keto can exacerbate the problem, make things worse. I know. So when all of these hiccups happen, you tend to get more fat on keto. I gotta admit. How that works is you have pancreatic insufficiencies. Your glucagon's not working. That's the hormone to raise glucose back up, so you don't crash in the middle of the day. And you have insulin to take the glucose down, and they have to be in opposition. But now they're like, because the pancreas just like gets tired. Your systems can wear out because you are mistreating the body. Caffeine forces your body to do a job it's not equipped to do, especially with you guys who have adrenal insufficiency, and then you're not sleeping well, and then you're taking coffee on top of that. And then you're wondering why your skin looks congested and you're so tired, or you crash so hard in the middle of the day, or you're not getting those strength gains, or guys, your testosterone's it's getting lower and lower and lower. Wow. There's also that carb, the carb roller coaster. You eat a bowl of cereal, you're like, oh yeah, I feel great. And then, boom, you crash. You're like, where's my coffee, And you could just crash without the coffee. You could wake up, feel fine for a little bit, and then crash anyway. And then your ability to raise up that glucose isn't working very well. So the pancreas begins to be overworked, and those hormones are now not doing their job. So insulin is that interesting hormone that it makes things grow. It can push amino acids into the muscles so muscles can grow. If you're insulin sensitive, then the insulin, you just need a little bit of insulin to do a big job. Yes. And that's what we want. We don't want a worn out pancreas to dump things into the bloodstream. And it's like a button that doesn't turn on. It's just cortisol, insulin, and then insulin stacks up in the bloodstream because it's hard to clear out, and it damages cells. And you age even faster. You're destroying your DNA, guys. Stuff's deep, it's deep. You go on a ketogenic diet. You stretch your boundaries because, you can't accept that you have to recreate a new reality, a new way of thinking, a new way of sleeping, a new way of talking, commuting, exercising, eating, the type of foods. And so you kind of do keto, and all of a sudden, boom, your glucose spikes, but you ain't got no ketones. So you've got glucose that spikes, ketones that are low, but that glucose that spikes is not enough to restore glycogen storages. That's the gasoline to the Maserati. So you feel like shite, you feel tired, you feel off. You ain't your normal self. That glucose spikes, the pancreas isn't doing its job. That glucose just keeps spiking. And the higher it goes, the crappier you feel. And for those who develop hypoglycemia or reactive hypoglycemia, you eat a meal and boom, your glucose drops. And of course, the insulin is not or the insulin's overreacting, dropping your glucose, and all those lovely hormones to raise back up your blood sugar, they ain't working. Yeah? Some of you guys have low cortisol, so you're just tired all the time. And it started normal. You know, your adrenal glands were normal in the beginning. You wear them out. You then wear the pancreas out at the same time, so your insulin's just overshooting and just dropping your glucose. Or it's not getting the glucose that you're making through gluconeogenesis, eating your body chomping on itself, the amino acids, and then it just keeps spiking. There's not a really nice insulin response to get it out of the bloodstream, so you don't feel right. You feel like shite. You guys develop high blood pressure, just you don't feel balanced. So that's a response that happens to keto, and the higher that your glucose rises, the more you store. Because that's, if your glucose is high, because your stress is still high on keto and you're not doing everything properly, and your protein's too high, and your carbs are too high, and your fat's too low, your sleep still sucks, you're still smoking cigarettes, you're still smoking, you know, other stuff, and you're still constipated, you still are a stress monger, still got that candida overgrowth. I don't know how many of y'all have that white tongue. The glucose keeps rising. You're training too hard, you're training at night, glucose just keeps rising. And that's when you got to make that decision. Either I'm going to go off keto or I'm going to keep doing it, but I'm going to be more smart about how I apply this new reality. If your glucose is high, your ketones become unusable. You might use a little bit. Sirens, you know how it works. You know the drill. Your ketones, you can make them. You can be a great keto.